the killing of innocent people based on a twisted ideology is an attack not just on France, not just on Turkey, but it's an attack on the civilized world. And as we, I'm sure, each said to President Hollande and the French people, we stand in solidarity with them in hunting down the perpetrators of this crime and bringing them to justice.
Joined now by New York Congressman Peter King on the Homeland Security Committee. Congressman King, welcome. Good morning to you. Let me ask you this. When you listen to the president, is that the tone, is that the response that you would expect given what has happened here?
No, that should not. Well, it's the tone we expect from President Obama, but it's not the tone you expect from a leader who has to lead a nation in war. The fact is that we are involved in a battle for civilization, and for the president to be calling it a crime and bringing people to justice, no, this is war. This is massive savagery on the part of ISIS. And I never thought I'd be in a position of saying that it's the president of France who right now is providing the leadership. We have to show much more of an intensity, much more of a drive than the president has shown thus far.
Yeah. My mind goes back to that moment on the rubble down at Ground Zero when President Bush said, the people who knock these buildings down, they will hear from all of us soon. And that kind of intensity that rallied people and gave people the confidence that, yes, there would be ramifications, and also sends a huge signal to these groups. You will not be able to continue these attacks without it, becoming, as Marco Rubio said over the weekend, a seriously humiliating situation for you. So let's talk a little bit more about what we're doing here to be ready for this, because, there's no reason. I'm looking at the numbers. There's 55 arrests of ISIS-related individuals in this country in just this year. So they're already here, Congressman, as you know.
No, ISIS is definitely here, and ISIS definitely wants to attack the United States. In fact, going back to the 4th of July this year, we knew that they were attempting to carry out a massive attack in New York City. Fortunately, the FBI and the NYPD, Joint Terrorism Task Force, working together, they arrested 5 ISIS operatives in New York. If not, we may have seen back on the 4th of July in New York what we saw over the weekend in Paris. I mean, these people want to kill us. And as you said, there's been over 60 operatives arrested in this country. FBI Director Comey says he has active investigations in all 50 states. And yet the Obama administration, again, the president says that ISIS has been contained. They act as if this is some criminal law enforcement matter going on, that this is just a twisted ideology. No, this is a massive movement operating on many fronts, including right here in the United States. And what happened in Paris could well happen here if we ever let our guard down. And even then, it could happen. But again, I just wish the president would show the intensity and would also speak out and call for surveillance. I mean, the best thing we have going here in New York City, where the main attack would probably occur, is the NYPD, which had a large surveillance operation going on that was somewhat curtailed by Mayor de Blasio, but Bill Bratton is still doing a terrific job. But the threat is going to come from the Muslim community. It's not going to come from the Irish or the Jewish or the Italian community. It's going to come from the Muslim community. And we should stop just talking about a twisted ideology and start talking about that those communities have to stand together, they have to stand with us, and the police have to be involved in those communities.
Yeah. I think back to the panel that you held, and, people were upset that you wanted to call it a panel that would be investigating Islamic extremism. They said, oh, well, we can't do that. It has to be, sort of all sorts of broad forms of violent terrorism. We are clearly not recognizing the, sort of global nature of this threat and the sort of the threat to our generation, putting it in the category with communism, putting it in the category with fascism in terms of the battle of this generation.
Yeah, right. And again, I think all our people and all generations have to be made aware of this. For instance, now when you have universities who want to honor or commemorate 9/11 and they're told they can't do it because it may bring about Islamophobia, the threat to this country is not Islamophobia, it's Islamist terrorism. No country has ever been more open to the Muslim community than the United States. That's all nonsense about Islamophobia. But there are people within the Muslim community who want to kill us, who are part of an international movement. And I don't know why the Muslim community doesn't welcome the police in, doesn't encourage the police to come in, doesn't turn over people in their own community. But again, the president, I just wish for once and for all he'd come out, put aside the political correctness, and also decide that overseas we can't be telling the enemy what we're not going to do. You can't say we're going to carry out bombing but not use ground troops. Never tell the enemy what you're not going to do. Let them think we're going to bring the wrath of God down on them.
All right. Congressman King, thank you very much.